So now we're going to talk about some common errors and mistakes that people make when they're searching. The first category of these are problems with ands and ors in a search. And the first error to talk about is not using ands or ors at all. Okay, so here's an example of what this looks like. You're interested in looking at family presence during CPR, and you just type it all into the search box as a phrase. Okay, instead of doing it as a phrase, you need to break that phrase up into concepts using ands. And you can do it with the different search boxes here, or you can type it into this first box. So we will break it up here. I'm even going to take presence out. So we've got family as a concept. We can add presence as another concept, and then we can add CPR as another concept. Okay, so try not to use phrases, instead break the phrases up into specific concepts. Okay, so another thing that can happen is if you're mixing ors and ands in the same search box. So this is what it can look like. You want to include resuscitation as another term for CPR. Okay, so you type resuscitation or CPR, and then you want to add the idea of families. Okay, the problem with mixing it this way is that the database will do those operators in the order that it sees them. Okay, so you'll get anything related to resuscitation, but then it will take sort of the second half of this search and take CPR and family. Okay, and it's going to combine those phrases sort of in not the order that we want. So the way to fix this problem is to always keep your ors in the same box. Okay, and well, on this search, the way to fix it is to have resuscitation or CPR here in the top, and then we have family in our second box, and we've got and combining those two concepts. That will keep our order in the correct place. So another way that you can mix up ands and ors is with the drop-down menu to the left. So as you can see in this example, we've got one or in the top box, and that's the correct setup because resuscitation and CPR are synonyms. We move down, however, and there is pediatric and then child, and we've got this or drop-down over here on the left-hand side. Pediatric or child here, those are synonyms, okay? And again, for getting the order correct, we need to have that or in the same box. So the way to fix this problem is to take child from that last box and to add it to this one with the or. And that will be the correct placement of the ands and ors for that set of keywords. So another problem that people can sometimes have is using ands where you should use ors. For example, if you're looking at shift length in nurses, you might be tempted to put in 12-hour and 8-hour. That would require that articles have both of those shift lengths specifically in the abstract or in any of that information. A better search in this case might be to change that and to an or so that you would capture anything that mentioned either of those shift lengths. You sort of have to use your judgment on this, but just be aware that that can be a problem if you are using and in a situation where you really don't care which one of those terms comes back. So truncation is another area where students have run into difficulty in the past. Here is an example of not truncating at the root of the word. So here we've got nurse truncated after the E, where it really should be truncated after the S. Okay, if you truncate it after the S, then you will get nurse, nurses, and nursing, whereas if you leave it after nurse, you'll just get nurse or nurses. Okay, the same is true for family. We want to truncate family after the L to get families. So be careful about where you put that star and make sure it's really at the root of the word. Another problem with truncation is not using it at all. Okay, here's an example of parent and satisfaction. Both of these keywords can be truncated at their root. On parent, we can just put it right at the end to get parents. And satisfaction should be truncated here after the F so that you get satisfy in addition to satisfaction and the other terms there after that root. So make sure that you are using truncation where there might be any different variations.